Today we'll be learning about Ansible. So some part of it we have already covered in Terraform, means the theory part which I'm covering. So we all know what is IAC. It stands for infrastructure as a code, in which we use the code for provisioning the infrastructure and also for configuration management. Okay, so whatever we do manually rather than doing manually, we should always do everything using code, and that's a infrastructure as a code. Okay, so as it is written here, it is method to provision and manage IT infrastructure using source code. Okay, so earlier we used to deploy everything manually, but nowadays it is recommended that even the deployment of the infrastructure provisioning and all should be done using code. Okay, so this also saves the time. Okay, and even the improves the efficiency of the resources, and that is human resources. So generally what happens in the infrastructure as a code, centralized system will be there which will provision multiple resources for various environments. Automation of IT operations, that is build, deploy and manage by provisioning of code rather than manual process, that is the infrastructure as a code. Okay, so till now we learned about provisioning. Okay, but now we'll also learn about configuration management. Okay, so what is provisioning? The first time whatever VM we create, that is called as provisioning. Not only VM, suppose first time we create a database. Okay, so if it is a managed instance in a managed database in a cloud, we'll also create a database or a VM or an infra resource. Okay, the first time whatever we create is called as provisioning. Okay, and after creating a VM, whatever we do for configuring it, like means creating the disks or extra disk, or adding an entry in FS tab, or configuring Apache server, changing the IP addresses and all, that will come under as configuration management. So generally we do provisioning using Terraform, and after that we'll be using the configuration management tools, which tools will show later, and Ansible is one of the configuration management tool. So we already covered what is provisioning and configuration management. So these are some of the configuration management tools available in the market. That is Chef, Puppet, Ansible, SaltStack. These are very famous ones. Okay, but the major share is taken by nowadays Ansible. Why? Because it is very easy to set up, easy to manage, highly scalable, written in YML. We have seen various things written in YML in this course, right? So everything is very easy with respect as compared to other tools like Chef, Puppet and SaltStack. Okay, so we know whenever we do deployment, definition of the deployment is whenever we deploy an application, new application or a new version, it is called as deployment. And provisioning is creating something for the first time. Okay, that is provisioning. Orchestration is arranging or coordinating the system, and configuration management is installing something on the system or configuring the system after its provision. Okay, we also know what is mutable and immutable infrastructure. Mutable means which can be updated anytime or can be changed anytime. That is mutable infrastructure. Immutable means we cannot change anything when it is running. Okay, when it is live, it should not be changed. For example, there is a version 1 of a software running on the particular um, infrastructure, and if you want to make any changes, we should release the version 2 and then we should deploy it. That is the immutable infrastructure which cannot be changed. And mutable infrastructure is means there will be many configuration to drift, and it is prone to bugs and all, whereas immutable infrastructure reduces the likelihood of configuration drift. Okay, and makes it easier to know in case there is some change, there are some changes, it is very easy to know where the things went wrong, and it's easy to find bugs in immutable infrastructure. So we also know about imperative and declarative nature of any system or a software. Imperative means will give the details of how it is to be done. we give the steps, okay, and in declarative will declare or will just say that achieve this result. So most of the times in declarative systems we compare the current state and the desired state, and this is very important. Idempotent means it will also compare the current state and the desired state, okay, and it will not try to overwrite, okay, that is important. Suppose if a file needs to be created, if the file already exists, it will not try to recreate it, okay, it will just skip it. That is the idempotency behavior. And what is Ansible? Okay, so Ansible is configuration management tool, okay, and mostly used for configuring configuration after the resource is provisioned, okay, and whatever we learned until now, that is it is immutable, okay, it is idempotent, it is declarative in nature. So what we can do with the Ansible, we can do provisioning. So till now I was saying that Ansible is a tool for configuration management, but it can also be used for provisioning. Okay. And even the Terraform can be used for configuration management. So, but Ansible is meant specially for config management. Okay. But it can be also used for provisioning. So first is provisioning, other is configuration management. We can also use it for application deployment. uh, Many people use it for security and compliance, like OS hardening. Ansible is very famous for achieving OS hardening as per CIS benchmarks. So there are some benchmarks set by CIS. Okay, that is system should have this much amount of means RAM or CPU, not exactly RAM or CPU, but something should not be world writable and all. So such compliance can be achieved using Ansible, and it can be also used as an orchestration tool. So why Ansible? It is open source. Okay, it is written in Python, which is very popular nowadays. Okay, and it is written in YML as well. Okay, so Ansible is written in Python, but we interact with it using YML, and YML is very easy to learn and write. Okay, and it is agentless. Some of the tools like Chef Puppet and all, they are not agentless. Okay, so and it helps us in achieving the automation. As I said, it is declarative and idempotent. Okay. So what does the declarative means? So this is one of the example of a task, okay, or a play in a playbook. So whatever we write in Ansible is called as playbook. We'll be seeing that soon. So here what we are saying, we are just giving a declarative statement that ensure that Nginx is present. Okay, how to install Nginx and all. It is not giving the steps. That is, this is how the Ansible is in declarative in nature. It is idempotent. So what it will do is it will ensure a file exists and it won't make means overwrite it or try to create one more file. Okay, if it already exists, that is the idempotent behavior of Ansible. So as I said, there are many other configuration management tools as well. Ansible is one of them. So Ansible is pushed based, means there will be a central server. From there all the configurations will be pushed on various servers, whereas on other systems it is pull based. Okay, so what does the AWS architecture look like? So this is the simple example. So there will be a central server. This is called as control node. Okay, and these all are client nodes, or you can say managed nodes. So why it is called managed nodes? This control node Ansible, we will be controlling all these control nodes, and between this control node and the managed node there is always a SSH connection, and mostly we create passwordless SSH between these systems. There will be an inventory. So this Ansible control system is managing all these nodes, node 1, node 2, node 3. So an inventory needs to be maintained. On that inventory the configuration is applied, and it is applied using a playbook. Okay. We'll see all those things in practical. Okay. So this is how, so if you see, this is how a playbook looks like. So the explanation for this is given in the previous slide here. So the whole is a playbook. Okay, the green color complete is a playbook. Inside the playbook we have various plays. The plays are install and start Apache. This is one of the play. Okay, and inside that there are two tasks, that is install HTTPD and start HTTPD. So play comprises of a play and task. Okay, so we can also do the installation. So in our case there will be a centralized server, that is a control node, and other will be managed node. We have only one managed node, but we can have multiple managed nodes. So to install Ansible, we'll be using yum install if it is Red Hat based system, and it will be apt-get using apt-get if it is Debian or Ubuntu based. Okay, so I'll give you a small example how the Ansible is very useful. Suppose we need to install HTTPD packages on 100 systems. Okay, so if you want to install it on 100 system, and if suppose for a single system it takes 5 minutes, then approximately it will take 500 minutes, that is 8 hours. Okay, 8 hours on 100 systems. Okay, and for that also we'll have to write a complex script. Okay, and that script needs to be copied on that systems if you want to do using script as well. Okay, but with Ansible it can be done parallelly on all the 100 systems. That is, in 5 minutes we can install HTTPD packages at a one go using Ansible. And as it is written in the code, there will be error free implementation. And if once we create that Ansible playbook to do this, we can reuse it. Okay, that's the power of Ansible. So this is, suppose these are the two scripts, okay, which we need if we plan to install HTTPD using script. Okay, so if you see it a bit complex, not very complex, but a bit complex. So this using this script we'll install HTTPD. Okay, and we need to copy this script on each server and then run it. Okay, so these two scripts we need to create if you want to do it using scripting. Okay, but using Ansible. Okay, this is the ad hoc or imperative command, and this is the declarative. So if you see, only in 3-4 lines I can install HTTPD. Okay, we don't need to write that complex script. Okay, and this script doesn't have means the idempotency. If it is installed, then also it will try to reinstall it. Okay, whereas Ansible, it is idempotent, and if you see, only 4 lines, these 4 lines will make sure HTTPD is installed, that also on all the 100 systems, and there is no need to copy anything. The only thing which we need is the passwordless SSH connection. Okay, so this is if you do with ad hoc command, only single line, and if you do with a declarative Ansible playbook, then we can have this only 4 lines. Okay, so in Ansible, uh, whatever we do, for example here what we have done is we are using a yum to install HTTPD. So if you see, before it I have written -m. M stands for module. Okay, so in Ansible everything is done using modules. For everything, for even for pinging, there is a module called ping. So in short, you can say whatever commands we run on a command line, they are converted into modules in Ansible, but they are not commands. They are not exact commands. They are the modules in Ansible. So for ping, we can use -m ping, and if it is we need to run some command remotely, then the command is one of the module. Suppose we want to install anything, then yum is one of the modules. So this can be an interview question: what is a module in Ansible? So we also need to write an script, means static and a dynamic inventory file. Okay, so this is how the static inventory file looks like. The static means we'll have to manually write it. So here we are defining this is a web group. So whatever in the bracket, square bracket, it is a group. Group can contain one or more than one hosts. So we are saying that web is group. In that we have web server 1 and web server 2. So DB is another group which has DB server. We can also write the IP addresses here directly. So then we have a load balancer. Then there is a concept of dev and children. So we are saying that we have a group Okay, in that group there are two children, that is web and DB. That means these three servers, web 1, web 2 and DB. That is the concept of children in Ansible, that we can have multiple groups as well in a single group. So we have a group Dave in which there are two subgroups like web and DB, and this is the dynamic file, kind of a JSON file or a YAML file, which gets dynamically created. Okay, so that is not important for us. We'll be using the static. Okay, and this is how the static file also looks like. So here we'll have host.ini, and that will list all the host on which we will be doing some configurations, and this is how we call the Ansible playbook. Ansible playbook, the inventory file. Okay, on this inventory file or the servers in inventory file, run this playbook httpd.yml. So a simple playbook for patching which can be used on Ubuntu and also on Red Hat. So here this is the equivalent to apt get update. We always do apt get update, right? So this is equivalent to that, apt update cache, yes, and then perform the upgrade. And here we'll be doing using latest. So syntax are different for Debian and Apache Red Hat flavors. So this is only using this simple command we do the patching, mostly using Ansible, but it is for all the systems. Okay, so this was all about the theory for Ansible. If there are any questions, let me know.